Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Bob. This show is rooted in common sense. Thank you for tuning in and watching my video here. I would like to talk about a negative travel experience my family recently had coming back from the Philippines. Now, I've been to the Philippines 7 times now, including this trip. And I want to talk a little bit about some things that were negative about the travel experience and some things that I would suggest that you be mindful of. Some mistakes that we made and some mistakes that were made by people who should know better. Okay, so we recently went to the Philippines and we flew on Korean Airlines. We went through Korea. I put out some other videos. Go ahead and watch this channel. Subscribe if you haven't, and check out some of the other videos about my travel experience and my booking experience and everything. I don't have anything bad to say about Korean Airlines. There's one small thing I'm going to cover a little bit later in this video that I wish they could have done a little bit better, but Korean Airlines is outstanding. Their service is outstanding. You know, there was one time we were on the flight, and I was eating, and I was drinking a little bit of a Diet Coke because they asked me what I wanted to drink, and I ordered Diet Coke. About 15 seconds after I got done drinking my Diet Coke, and I set the glass on my tray, the flight attendant took it away. I mean, it was almost like she was watching me, and she was waiting for me to finish. I mean, great service. As soon as I finished my meal, the tray was gone. Anything I wanted. They treated us like kings and queens on Korean Airlines. I highly recommend them. Yes, you'll have to make a stopover in Korea. If you're going to another country that's not Korea, it's worth it. Incheon Airport is beautiful. It's awesome. It's clean. It's efficient. Korean Airlines runs a top-notch airline. The problem we had was in Manila, Philippines, trying to come back home to the United States. Here's the mistake we made. We got there about 2 hours and 40 minutes before our flight. Bad mistake. You need to get there much earlier than 2 hours and 40 minutes before flight. Here's why. If you look at the thumbnail picture on this video, look at the line. Look how long and how many people were in line. That was only the line to check baggage. The line was longer than that going through security. So you may sit there for 2.5 hours in lines. Manila Airport is a circus. And every time I've flown in and out of there, again, I'm not a rookie. This is my 7th time in and out of Manila. It's a circus. And the next time we go there, we're not going to fly into Manila, into the Philippines. We'll go to Clark, we'll go to Cebu, we'll go somewhere else, even if we have to make an extra connection. Or we'll connect through Manila, which could be bad also. The challenge we ran into, I'm an American citizen. My wife and my 2 stepsons, they are permanent residents. They have their green card here in the USA. Well, the challenge is their green cards expired recently, and the USCIS sent us a nice letter. They sent us a letter saying, while we're in the process of sending you your renewed green cards, this letter shows that you're extended for another 24 months. When we checked in Manila, these were Filipinos that were working at the Korean Airlines check-in counter. These were not Koreans. They were Filipinos. The lady checking us in asked for the USCIS letter for our 10-year-old. Now, keep in mind something. We traveled from the USA all the way to the Philippines. We got in to the Philippines. We went through immigration, no problem. They let us in the country. Coming home was the problem. We did not have an extension letter for our 10-year-old. Now, if I'm not mistaken, a 10-year-old child has the same status as their parent. So if their parent is a citizen or their parent is a permanent resident of the United States, I shouldn't have said citizen. If the parent, in other words, his mother, is a resident of the United States, permanent resident, the 10-year-old should have the same status, correct? I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to work. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Put a comment in this video and let me know if I'm wrong. But I believe that I'm right. Even so, here's the problem. It took the agent at the working the Korean Airlines counter, again, Filipinos, and the reason I know they're Filipinos is because my wife started talking to them in Tagalog, and they started talking back in Tagalog. They said, well, we need to call immigration and verify that this is okay. I politely asked them, how do you think that we would have got into your country if we were not legal? Okay, but they didn't want to hear any of that. But that's okay if they wanted to call, but it took them 50 minutes to call. Okay, something I had to take care of. Sorry about that. It took them 50 minutes to call. 50 minutes. They had us standing there at the baggage check-in counter for 50 minutes. Meanwhile, everybody else who was standing in line behind us checked in with no problem, showed their documents, checked in their bags, and moved on to immigration. Here's the other part. Security. After standing there for 50 minutes, we had to go through security. We still hadn't gone through that, and that line was even longer. So, again, the mistake that we made is we didn't get there about 4 hours or 4.5 hours prior. Next time, to prepare for craziness like this, we're going to get there at least 4 hours, probably 4.5 hours before our flight departure so that we have plenty of time. We did make our flight. We made our flight because some people, I think, felt bad for us. By the time we left that baggage check-in counter, our flight was about 20 minutes from taking off. And people felt bad for us, and some people helped us at the airport, got us to the front of the line, going through immigration and security and all that stuff. We made it barely. We were the last 4 people on the plane. They closed the door about a minute after we got on that plane. Otherwise, we would have missed our flight from Manila to Incheon, and then, of course, missed our connection from Incheon to Los Angeles, and then Los Angeles to San Antonio. Now, after we got on, again, Korean Airlines was fantastic. If you got to use Korean Airlines, you will not be disappointed. And no, I don't work for them. I don't represent them. I didn't get paid anything for talking about them on this video. I'm giving you a good review based on a good experience. Now, when we got back to the United States, we came through Los Angeles. Oh boy. Then Delta Airlines that we switched to, coming to LA, 4.5 hour delay. 4.5 hours. So, just amazing. By the way, we had to reclaim our luggage in Los Angeles, and we had to take it to the transfer counter, the transfer luggage counter. And so we had to reclaim our luggage, take it to the transfer counter, and then they checked it to our flight back here to San Antonio. For some reason, going to the Philippines, we checked all of our bags in at San Antonio, and they checked them all the way through. Delta Airlines, Korean Airlines, and all the way through, and the bags were waiting there in Manila. No problem with the bags, by the way. Either way, both directions. Thank goodness, no problem with the bags. So prepare for this. The purpose for making this video is you're going to run into people that don't really probably know the law, or even if they do know the law, they want to give you a hard time. It's okay. It's okay. I know it's hard to keep track of everything. So if these agents that were working there wanted to make sure that it was okay to let us on the flight, that's fine. But why does it take 50 minutes to make a phone call or go over and see somebody in immigration and ask them? Come on. There's got to be a better way and a better process. I'm going to make another video about the ridiculousness that we have to go through just to get green cards renewed. And that's my government. That's the United States government that is just very inept. So I'll just wrap this up by saying this is why on international flights they tell you to get there early. And I'm telling you what, we learned our lesson. I think the next time we're getting there 4.5 hours early, just in case we run into this craziness. And again, I don't know why, because everybody else who was in line to put their bags on Korean Airlines, and many of them were on the same flight as us. The same flight. And the reason I know that is I saw a lot of these people on our flight once we got on it. They let them go right through. For some reason, the four of us, me, my wife, and my two stepsons, who are currently Philippine citizens but have American green cards, they wanted to pick on us. And that's a shame. So that's it. That's what I want to talk about. Do you have any questions? You got any comments? Down below, there's a comment section. I'd like to hear your comments and any questions. Again, like this video if it's good information, and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow this channel. This is Real Talk with Bob. Thanks for watching.